and eat with forks and spoons, and curry has a very strong and very un-English smell.
When my father came in the late 50s, there was a lot of discrimination, and a lot of Sikhs chose to cut their hair.
Today, well over half the bus crews are immigrants. 70 are Sikhs, and the strict Sikhs religion demands both beards and turbans. To take up the job, the 70 have shaved off their beards and put their turbans on one side.
By the 1970s, the battle for equality and justice faced by Sikhs and other immigrant communities in Britain was growing increasingly fraught.
If you actually look back to, say, the 70s, it was really a reflection of the sort of society we lived in Britain. You know, there used to be demonstrations by the right wing, and therefore sometimes community members were reluctant to celebrate Vaisakhi on the streets.
But tumultuous events in the Punjab in 1984 would galvanise many Sikhs into standing up for their rights and reclaiming their identity. In response to the Indian Army's assault on the Golden Temple, thousands of British Sikhs grew their hair and donned turbans for the first time.
I think in the 80s you saw the community becoming a lot more confident, and I think there's been no turning back.
Surendra Singh Danjal lost his job at British Steel after the new hard hat rules came in. A tribunal said exemptions for turbans now only apply to building sites, which are governed by a special law.
I'm a Sikh. I will give my life, but not my turban.
You ask youngsters now, they feel quite comfortable about keeping their hair. Often their parents might have cut their hair, but they bring up their children as Sikhs. So it's become easier because there's a much wider acceptance that Sikhs are nothing to fear. This is just a way of life. So I think the more we take our message out there, the easier it becomes.
Sikhs have faced discrimination, as have other communities, and that's changed. Sikhs have had the confidence through Guru Gobind Singh's teachings on that special day to challenge discrimination. The whole community has worked together, not just to help themselves on that issue, but to help others as well, which is exactly what Guru Gobind Singh taught us to do.
The British Sikh community's growing confidence has been mirrored by the size and scale of Vaisakhi celebrations, which today provide a spectacular feast of colour and noise.
It's very different for my children now. They're growing up at a time when people know a lot more about Sikhs, that it's perfectly acceptable to have a Gurdwara procession going down the street, and people seem very willing to join in the celebrations, whatever their background.
What you've seen over the last 25 years, and now it's become a regular event, is you see Nagar Kirtans, processions, in virtually most of our cities in the UK. And not just in the UK, in places like Canada, the States, it's all over the world now.
On the day of Vaisakhi, there's a great excitement amongst Sikh families, where you wake up and in your mind subconsciously you imagine that this is the same day as 1699, and perhaps if we were there in that congregation of 80,000 people, would we have volunteered to give our lives and take the stage of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Khalsa initiation? And what we have is a very, very special procession. We could refer to this as Nagar Kirtan. And Nagar means town, and Kirtan means singing hymns. The Nagar Kirtan is a way of actually reliving the mass congregation making its way to see our Guru. And our Guru is represented by the Khalsa Panth, the Panj Pyare. And they walk in front, they lead the procession. Behind them is a highly decorated palanquin which holds our Guru Granth Sahib Ji.
The Sikh holy book, the Guru Granth Sahib, is revered as a living guru, and the level of respect it's granted is evident from its role at the very heart of the Vaisakhi parade.
And the whole congregation follows his palanquin. They clean the roads with water and with brooms. Some people put flower petals, some people spray perfume, some people have fireworks.
And it's a way of celebrating your faith, sharing your faith, and perhaps taking some of those messages about equality, about being open, accepting other faiths, giving out free food, because that concept of Guru Ka Langar is very much confined to our Gurdwaras, this free food kitchen. In a way, that's expanded, you know, on the streets of, say, your local town or city.
So you've got lots of people, and in the procession you may have people who are dancing, showing Bhangra, which is more of a traditional cultural celebration as opposed to religious. And you also get the Sikh martial arts specialists who do their displays of gatka with the swords and the arrows and the great martial art displays. And it constitutes to a huge, long sort of like convoy.
It's very important not just to celebrate for the sake of celebrating, but to celebrate and remember what has happened in the past.
Once the procession reaches the Gurdwara, a ritual takes place which connects Vaisakhi back to its ancient origins as a harvest festival, marking the start of a new solar year. The Nishan Sahib, the Sikh holy flag, is lowered and then the flagpole is washed. A new flag is then put on the pole, and the pole raised to enable the Nishan Sahib to fly proudly above the Gurdwara for the coming year. The Vaisakhi celebrations culminate in an important religious service which Sikh families attend at the Gurdwara. In many British cities, this event takes place on the evening of Vaisakhi.
Happy Vaisakhi!
The Mukkan family from Manchester agreed to show us how they would typically celebrate this special day.
It's very important to look smart and dignified on Vaisakhi. We're going to Gurdwara, everybody's going to look their best and look their smartest.
It is the most important day in the Sikh calendar. So that's why everybody makes an effort to get dressed smart.
Brilliant, boys. You're looking so smart, lovely, and it's so important that we look our best, isn't it, for Vaisakhi?
Of course.
Yeah? Ready to go?
Yeah. Yes.
Fantastic, let's go. It's very important as good Sikhs to make a donation towards the Gurdwara all the time, but especially Vaisakhi, because of the harvest significance that it has. So, you know, we're all doing our little bit for the community and taking whatever we can. Come boys.
The family head to their local Gurdwara and take their food donations to the prayer room where all offerings receive a holy blessing. On Vaisakhi, it's traditional to have a continuous reading of the entire Sikh holy book, the Guru Granth Sahib.
The service usually involves concluding the reading of the Guru Granth Sahib. It would have been read from front to cover, and in the special ceremony we will also have a historical reminder of the events of Vaisakhi as an inspiration to all of us.
The key themes of Vaisakhi are this experience of really transforming from just being to living in an exalted state in total service, totally fearless of death, really conquering one's own fears. What attracted me to living a Sikh way of life is its universal, it's totally inspiring, and it's a way of living which is for your highest consciousness and the highest consciousness of the planet. And a great phrase is, you become a warrior and not a warrior.
Vaisakhi is like a reminder of our roots, really, and I think it's important because I think we sometimes can lose sight of it, really. I think particularly in this modern world, and you know, for me particularly, like going to the Gurdwara, I really feel like, whoa, you know, you go into the Gurdwara in the space and you sit down and you know, you're there and equal with everybody else on the floor, just not saying anything, but just have your hands together, clasped together, and just sit in silence, you know, and just listen. And that is so beautiful in the sense of, it really reminds you of the kind of crazy world you live in, because it's just so nice to be at peace. Do you know what I mean? And that's, I think, when it sort of hits me and I kind of get emotional.
Back at the Gurdwara, the langar has been prepared, and a portion of the food, which will be shared by the worshippers after the service, is taken to the prayer room to be blessed. This is enacted via a ritual in which a steel blade is ceremonially dipped into the food. Through this symbolic act, the entire food for the congregation receives a blessing. The service ends by returning the Guru Granth Sahib back to its special resting place. And then the congregation makes its way down to the langar hall to eat. It's traditional for all worshippers, regardless of age, gender or status, to join in with the serving of the food.
I haven't yet, yaar. I'm going to join you in just one moment. It's buzzing. People from all over the northwest have come to Gurdwara Sahib, they've listened to the service, and they've all sat down to have Guru Ka Langar.
For many Sikh families, the day of Vaisakhi ends with a private prayer service at home.
The way we like to end Vaisakhi at home at night time is through Kirtan Solapad. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
300 years ago on Vaisakhi, Guru Gobind Singh exhorted followers of the Sikh faith to stand up for their beliefs. And the British Sikh community, once shy of openly rejoicing on its holiest days, is now fulfilling that call as it celebrates the birthday of modern Sikhism with a rich, diverse and inclusive pageant.
The celebrations with Vaisakhi have increased in size extensively over the years because the Sikh community seems to be much more confident.
To remember the special moment of 1699, I think the future should really concentrate on the message of Vaisakhi, the humility, the non-discrimination aspect, because these messages are ubiquitous. They're for everyone, irrespective of your religion. You can follow these attributes and you can assign them to your own religion and the way that you live. And I hope that this will promote and propagate the message of Sikhism through the Vaisakhi celebrations. So the celebrations can only get bigger and better.